course not. Which is that prove?
It's that Poppins woman, Mary Poppins.
Oh, of course. Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins. Is that your name?
That's her name. And here's the behind-the-scenes story of the making of Walt Disney's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious masterpiece.
Mary Poppins, practically perfect in every way.
Mary Poppins, which was filmed on this soundstage, was the studio's triumph of special effects, animation, and live action. It also won 5 Oscars, more than any single Disney film had before or since. But those of us who worked on the film, and all of us who've come to love it, know it was the story beneath the special effects that turned the movie into an enduring classic.
In a way, Mary Poppins is the culmination of Walt's career, in that it draws on everything he'd learned how to do, blending animation and live action, integrating songs with story, and of course, not the least, his great eye for talent. Because after all, he's the one who brought Julie Andrews to Hollywood for the first time to make this film.
What many people don't realize is that Walt Disney's interest in Mary Poppins dated back to 1939. Mary Poppins had been published in 1934 and was wildly popular in England. Walt's brother Roy Disney began negotiations with the author, P.L. Travers, in 1944, while Travers was living in New York to escape the Nazi bombings of London. Many years went by, but the tenacious Mrs. Travers finally released the film rights to the equally determined Mr. Disney in 1961.
Mary Poppins is a live musical fantasy. The whole story is carried out by live actors. And it's, of course, we have a lot of tricks of the trade here that we incorporated into Mary Poppins.
Instead of giving the book to a screenwriter or animation director, Walt first called upon songwriters to look at Mary Poppins.
Our songwriters, Dick and Bob Sherman.
The Sherman brothers had started working for Walt, doing incidental songs, but when he came to them and proposed Mary Poppins, this was on a different plateau. He knew it, and he made them know it too. He got them involved in helping to build the story. The songs came out of the story, and the story led to the songs. And it was a perfect integration of music and storytelling.
One day Walt handed us a book, and it was Mary Poppins, and he said, read it and tell me what you fellas think about it.
We circled 6 chapters.
An amazing thing happened.
Walt opened his copy of the book, and he had circled the same 6 chapters.
What a feeling.
The Sherman brothers set to work with storyman Don DeGrady, who developed their story ideas through drawings.
Don DeGrady came in one day with a sketch of a little chimney sweep carrying his brooms and whistling. And I said, this is a song.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiree. A sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo. Good luck, we're above when I shake hands with you.
In casting the pivotal role of the Magic Nanny, a bright young musical star caught Walt's eye.
It's Julie Andrews, incomparable Broadway star of My Fair Lady in Camelot.
How did you pick Julie for the part? Well, I went to New York and I caught the performance of Camelot. Of course, I'd heard the records and things, but it was Camelot that I saw her in. And then I went backstage and I tried to talk her into the thing, and I tried to convince her I was capable of making a picture with live actors as well as cartoons. I didn't know what she thought of me and everything. I think I put on quite an act there that night, didn't I?
Thanks, Walt. For a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
When you see Julie Andrews and Mary Poppins, she's so perfect. She's so wonderful. You wonder how anybody could have turned her down for anything, and yet the great irony was that was the same year that My Fair Lady came to the screen, and that was the role that she had made her own on Broadway. But Jack Warner of Warner Brothers passed her by for the movie. He didn't think that she was movie material.
In a casting choice that many critics thought odd, Walt chose All-American Dick Van Dyke as Mary Poppins' Cockney companion, Bert.
Well, it's my 3rd motion picture, but the best one I've ever been in, the best one I ever will be in if I live to be 150 years old.
Oh, it's a jolly jolly all the night with Mary. Mary makes your heart so light.
You haven't changed a bit, have you?
Dick Van Dyke was known by then as the star of his weekly TV comedy series, and he was wonderful in it. But he'd already been on Broadway as a musical comedy star in Bye Bye Birdie, and Mary Poppins let him show all his talents. A natural dancer, a wonderful singer, a man of just tremendous charm and presence.
Child actors Karen Dotris and Matthew Garber, who had starred in Disney's 3 Lives of Thomasina, were cast as the Banks children, Jane and Michael.
We better keep an eye on this one. She's tricky. She's wonderful.
Film and stage star Glynis Johns was cast as the suffragette Mrs. Banks.
I don't think we need bother the police, dear. The facts of the matter...
Kindly do not attempt to cloud the issue with facts.
Prim British actor David Tomlinson joined Mary Poppins as Mr. Banks. Disney favorite Ed Wynn made a cameo appearance as Uncle Albert. And the role of the Bird Woman was played by Jane Darwell, best known for her role as Ma Jode in The Grapes of Wrath. Mary Poppins was her last film. But establishing a distinguished human cast for Mary Poppins was only half the job. There was an animated cast of co-stars too, and all of these actors had to perform together in a fantasy world.
Combining actors and animated characters allows you to create scenes and situations that could never happen in real life. Long before Roger Rabbit was just a gleam in an animator's eye, Walt Disney was experimenting with a way to place people in an animated world. This rare silent film was made in 1923. Live action and animation came together in seamless perfection in a film that became a classic. Thank you. Menu hasn't changed in 25 years. You've put on a little weight, though, Max. Looking at that scene from Mary Poppins, you must be asking yourself one of 2 questions. How did they put Julie and me in that scene? Or when did Van Dyke's hair turn white? We'll attack these one at a time. First, the dashing young performer is filmed dancing in front of a neutral background. Next, pencil sketches of the animated characters are created as a guide. The penguins in the background are fully animated. And finally, the elements are combined.
The warm and nostalgic London settings for Mary Poppins were also created by Movie Magic, entirely at the Disney studio.
In the 50s, Walt had also acquired the services of a very talented painter named Peter Ellenshaw, who became the undisputed master of the matte painting, which is a painting on glass. You paint on a piece of glass that's then positioned in front of the camera. When the camera looks at the painting and there's a piece of glass left open, the piece of glass that's clear sees the actual set and combines it with the painting.
I painted a view of the city of London at late afternoon, and the sun had already gone down in the painting. And behind the glass, because I painted it on glass, as I had on this one, made little holes in the paint so that we could put lights back of it, and the lights would all come on gradually all over the city, or appear to.
In many ways, Mary Poppins was Peter Ellenshaw's masterpiece as well as Walt's, because he painted 102 glass paintings, and they're just brilliant. You know, the cast never left Burbank. Not only didn't they ever leave Burbank, they never set foot outdoors. They never went outside a sound stage. And yet this film takes place on the rooftops of London, in the skies over London, in a variety of fanciful settings, and many of those settings were made possible and tangible by Ellen Shaw's great artistry.
Even Walt's newest technology, audio animatronics, had a featured role in Mary Poppins.
This is a little robin that we had in Mary Poppins. And this little bird sang a duet with Julie Andrews.
Mark Brayo and T.D. Wood, who had assisted legendary choreographer Michael Kidd, were brought on to direct the dancing, not only of the principal cast, but of chimney sweeps, bank executives, and even penguins. In this rare, never-before-seen footage, the chimney sweeps rehearsed the lively step-in-time number in the summer heat on the Disney backlot. Choreographer D.D. Wood stands in for Julie Andrews.